This is Roger with Wheel Kinetics in Tucson, Arizona. We're selling this Jeep. It is a 2005 Jeep Wrangler, 4.0, 6-cylinder, 4-wheel drive automatic. It has 18,000 actual miles on a clear title. It's a theft recovery, purchased directly from an insurance company in El Paso, Texas. And yes, that is some sort of a contraption on the roof. We have our thoughts on it. It's either for hunting or our conspiratorial senses are that they drove it right up to the fence, the border wall, and hoisted dope over the wall from one Jeep to the other. That's what we think. It also has a brand new motor, not an 18,000 mile motor, a 0-mile motor. We bought a brand new motor with a 3 years, with a 36-month, 100,000 mile warranty. We put it in. Why? Because it had a blown motor. Who knows why? It probably got stuck in the mud and they rubbed the crap out of it when they were out in the desert smuggling and blew it up. So it's got a brand new motor. It also used to be silver. They hit it, they painted it blue. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to show you. First of all, I'm going to have my trusted assistant walk up on the roof real quick and you can see how it works. There's a little ladder there. And you cross this little deal here and you're up on top. And that's what they did. Thank you, Jason. And he's all done. Anyway, we've got receiver hitch on the front. Obviously, you could load boats from both ends of this thing. The paint is not spectacular by any means. There's a little nick there. They didn't paint under the hood. They did paint mostly the door jambs. Got brand new BFGs. I'm told that when you drive this thing, that these, because of the weight of this deck on these things, that it bounces up and down and makes a little noise. So if you were going to drive it on a daily basis, it's pretty easy to take this whole thing off. That's what you would do, obviously, if you're driving around town. The top part does come off, so if you were shipping it on a double deck vehicle, there would be some way of getting that off and like putting it somewhere else. We'd have to work out something for that, but as you can see, it's got some scratches and stuff. The body's pretty straight. It's very straight. A couple minor dings. It's got brand new BFGs on it. I would open this door, but that would entail, if you unscrew this deal, this whole thing flips up. The whole ladder flips up. But that's a little much for me with one hand and a camera here. If I owned this thing, I would just take this rack off and set it up and just drive underneath it and put it on when I needed it. Or at least take off that top part. This part right here comes right off. You unbolt it here on those ends, and that top comes off. Blah blah blah. Let me open the hood here. We were shocked when this thing had a hole in the side of the motor. But that is what a brand new motor looks like. There's also a brand new battery. As you can see, it used to be silver. There's the original sticker for the hood. So they tried to hide it. And so basically, if you want a mechanically perfect Jeep for about half of what they're costing in the real world now, this would be the one. It's not the most attractive thing in the world. It's not bad, but you know, our job is to be brutally honest. You can see they took off the door panels and tried to paint the door jambs correctly. They did a pretty decent job. A little bit of silver there. You can see the silver down here on the kick panels. But, I mean, for what you're going to use this thing for, which I would imagine would be four-wheeling, it's pretty cool. Alright, let me get in here. Man, it's cold today in Tucson. Well, cold. And you're probably going to be angry about that. It's about 35 was our low. Alrighty then. Let's see. 17,490 miles to be exact. There's your cruise control on and off. It's got a tilt wheel here, up and down. I have no idea what these toggle switches are for. No idea. It might have had some sort of a light package hooked up to it. Got a radio. Radio works, obviously. Let's run through some air. Make sure we have air. Overdrive on and off right there, huh? The overdrive. And that is definitely cooler air than outside. The AC works. Let's make sure the heater works too while we're here. Definitely. That feels pretty good too. Heater works fine. Roof looks good. Blah, blah, blah. I'd take it off, but obviously I got that big rack up there on the top. Seats are in pretty good shape. There's a little tear right here. We had it detailed yesterday, so there's still a little bit of moisture from the detail. That's what that is. Back seats have already dried out pretty good. Like I said, this is not a beauty queen by any means, but it's interesting. The stuff that you look for, you know, when you have a really low mile vehicle, like this trim, is always really scratched up and looks terrible. And this looks like a very low mile Jeep. The steering wheel looks like low mile. The carpet looks low mile. All this trim looks low mile. It's kind of an interesting vehicle. And it's got a brand new motor, which, by the way, the warranty does transfer, and we will include that paperwork with the vehicle. All right, so that's for low. I'm gonna put it into, let's see, put it into four-wheel drive. And let me see if I can figure out how to do this right. I'm so bad at this stuff. It's not even funny how bad I am at this. There we go. That's for low. That's in drive. And this is for, wow, that is definitely four-wheel low. All right, now, let's see, so that would be neutral. That would be four-wheel drive high right there. Now we're in four-wheel drive high. Oh yeah, you can drive at speed in that. That's drive, this is reverse. Boom. Okay, now we're back in two-wheel. All right. Now, like I said, we do have that clunking noise from that from the frame sitting on the roof rack frame sitting on the nerf bars. My guys have already warned me about that, so if we hear that in the video, that's what that is. Actually, they said I would hear it. I don't hear it. So I tell them to be very critical when they're giving me vehicles. I want to be able to tell you people exactly what's going on. So they're a little sensitive. I do not want something going somewhere that has any hidden issues. This thing runs really straight. For all that stuff up there, it's pretty damn quiet. I'm sure it's not exactly the most aerodynamic thing in the world to have this huge steel contraption on the roof. So I'm sure it's not good for gas mileage or for noise. And honestly, drove pretty damn straight and pretty easy for that. Interesting. Tell you what, I wouldn't want to drive it on I-10 for 500 miles or to Kentucky for 2,000 miles with that thing on the roof. So you should ship it. If it's going to go much farther than like Phoenix, I would ship it, because you could definitely feel the air catching underneath that thing up there, and you wouldn't want to roll this thing. They're not exactly flip proof as it is. I'm sure with that thing on the roof, it becomes a real sketchy thing to drive at high speeds for long distances. Anyhow, but that being said, it runs really well. Let's see, if you come to Tucson to drive at home, which I would recommend maybe Phoenix at the most. The rest of you guys, I mean, unless you want us to take off the rack. If we take the rack off, you know, and just keep it here, and you just take off, then I think you're fine. I think you could drive this thing to Maine right now. I'm sure you can. But with that rack on the roof, I wouldn't recommend that. So if you come here to drive it home, you're going to pay taxes. You're going to pay 2% city sales tax here in Tucson, plus whatever your state tax rate. If your state tax rate is 5%, you're going to pay a total of 7% taxes, plus a $250 dock fee. If you're from like Alaska, for instance, by the way, that was the fuel light just came on. I need to put some gas in this thing. If you're from Alaska, where it's 0% tax, all you're going to pay is 2% tax and a $250 dock fee. If you pay by wire and ship, you're going to pay no dock fee and no taxes. You're just going to deal with whatever tax issues you have in your state, and that's it. Please make sure you get a deposit in. Without a deposit, we do not have a deal. Once we have a deposit, we put a deposit banner over your vehicle on our website, and we have a little note that says, "Thank you, Joe," "Thank you, Mary," whatever, and that's that. All right? Thank you very much. Please have a safe week and a good weekend.